So, today, ladies and gentlemen, we are very fortunate to have an expert, someone who's building tools that empower millions of developers globally. He's a product manager at Google. He's a proud alumnus of BITS Pilani, currently leading innovation for Firebase Remote Config, and someone who has been instrumental in shaping developer-facing products and elevating the overall developer experience at Google. With a broad and active professional network, he is a well-connected across tech communities. Yes, I'm talking about none other than Mr. Siddhant Jain. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Sir for our very first speaker session with a huge round of applause. Siddhant sir, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Siddhant. I'm a product manager at Google. It's a privilege to be here and talking to you. Today, what I'm going to talk about is something that we have recently started to think about as overall community who's trying to create AI apps. So basically, trying to use AI in their apps. The focus has been on using AI and trying to build apps. But what we are going to talk about today is what happens after that. So that's going to be the focus of the session. So I'm the product manager in Google Firebase team. Uh, Firebase is Google's app development platform. Uh, I use this. Yes, Firebase is Google's app development platform, and the mission for Firebase is to empower developers to build and grow apps that users love. Um, so if you think about Firebase or if you think about apps, each app has an app life cycle, and in every stage of that life cycle, you need to use different kinds of tools, right? So Firebase offers a suite of services that you can use at every step of app development, whether it's building, developing, deploying, testing, experimentation, whatever. Essentially, it's a toolbox you can use to build your applications. So personally, talking about me, I'm the product manager for Firebase Remote. What is remote config? Remote config helps you to configure, experiment with, and optimize your AI apps in real time using feature flags. A bunch of words, right? But what can it really do? Uh, Remote config is based on feature flags, and what it can do for you, especially when you are building modern AI powered applications, uh, it it can help you with a bunch of things. So let me start. Let's break down the superpowers it gives you. First and foremost, you can manage your app's features remotely without needing to push an app update. This effectively decouples the software engineering process from the managing of user experience. So what does this really mean? I mean, if you guys are engineers, right? Uh, Deployments are a headache. Things break down. Things take time. If you're using a mobile app, you have to submit stuff to App Store or Google Play Store, and then they review. It's a long process. Uh, for managing smaller things like managing the UI or managing any if for example you have the bandwidth today, you have built any features, but you don't really need to launch them today. You can't really wait for the right moment to come because then that like messes up your overall, capacity planning and everything. But imagine if you could build everything and just ship it, have the app store review it, everything happens. But even in case of web apps, right, you ship it, everything happens, and you only flip on the feature when there is need for it or when the moment is right. That is what remote config can help you do. And with a similar mechanism, you can also update a lot of things. If you want to change if you want to add a button to your app that says, hey, click on this to get the offer that was not there previously, you can do it using feature flag. It's pretty easy to do. I think about that. Like, imagine you've developed an AI-powered photo filter. Instead of hardcoding the thing into their app and going through the full app review lifecycle just to launch it, you can just have it sitting there. When you're ready, just flip on the switch in Firebase console, and instantly the users see that app. Secondly, uh, remote config allows you to run experiments, to test your ideas, and this is an incredible superpower, right? Uh, because ideas are good, but guessing can be expensive. To get around that, you have to be smart, and that smartness comes from testing and making data driven decisions. That is what experimentation gives you. It lets you test your ideas and measure their impact in real life situations where real people are using the app, and then you are able to see, okay, this is the impact. Maybe my new feature is crashing too much, I need to pull it back. Or maybe, people are not really liking it. So, or maybe people like it, so I need to, roll it out to a larger set of audience. You can do all of that with remote config. The third thing, and this is one of most favorite features in remote config. This particular thing gives you confidence when rolling out new AI features. AI features, in by their very nature, are non-deterministic. Like, at an overall level what is going to happen, but it's an LLM. You can just give out anything. So you don't really want to launch everything to a new user in one go, like to your entire user base in one go. Uh, Launching in gradual increments, just using this kind of a rollout feature allows you to confidently release new applications and just like launch them to a smaller audience first, maybe 1%, then scale it up to 5%, then 20%, whatever increments you want to take. I generally consider it to be a best practice to do so. And lastly, you could simply use AI to personalize your app. So Remote Config has a personalization product. This basically helps you uh, it's like an always-on experiment. You don't need to decide what configuration to serve to each user. Let AI handle that thing. So that is what it can help you with. And in the AI era, Remote Config provides an essential toolkit to safely launch, test, and scale AI feature. So this was just a short introduction to Remote Config. Now, let's talk about you know what happens next. I mean, you can do awesome things with AI apps, with remote configure to a lot of feature flags. But what are feature flags really? Right? Let's talk about that. Right? Quite simply, feature flags like a switch. Uh, you flip on the switch, the light turns on. As simple as that is the concept. Similarly, you could take it a step further, and instead of having just a true or false value, you could have some other value. You flip the switch on, the color is red. You flip the switch off, the color is blue, right? And this way, you can support a bunch of different inputs. You can provide a bunch of different inputs to these kind of flags. You can even have a JSON in there with a bunch of information that gives you a very complex configuration, and you can just run with it. And it provides you with a lot of flexibility in terms of how you manage your AI applications today. Now, you can also take it a step further and say, I want to update these values, but I want to do it remotely for millions of my customers out there. You could do that today. This config can be stored in cloud, which is the way things work today. This means you can change your configs in a few clicks without requiring to change your code. Remote config will instantly update your application on millions of devices across the world in a snap, really. But you could take it a step even further, right? You could build complex logic into it. You could say that, hey, it's a bunch of if else statement, it's a bunch of conditions. I want to flip on the lights in some country, and otherwise the default value should be false. And you can even build these kind of complex targeting conditions to define who can see the feature that you want to see. Maybe you launch a feature and you only want people in Bangalore to see it first, because the behavior in Bangalore is very, very different, probably than behavior in probably Sikar or Nagpur or even in some other city in Northeast, right? Maybe your app is only built for rural areas, so you only want to show it to people who are in rural areas. Or you can build things like I only want. I don't want anyone who's running on low battery to be able to see this particular feature because it drains the battery. So I don't want this to be there. Imagine you are a streaming company and 20 crore people are watching your streams, and you have a feature in there that just sucks the network. You can turn it off during live events. It will help optimize the performance of the app, and that is like one of the core things that you can do using feature flags. So, in short, with remote config and with these toggle features, what you can do is you can toggle feature flags to remotely set it to a specific value based on authentication in real time without requiring app updates to dynamically manage your user experience. Uh, which is a really powerful story. But what does it really mean for you, right? I mean, it's a nice theory. It's a bunch of features that are really, really helpful. They sound helpful, but how do you use them in real life, right? This all sounds awesome, but like where can you use it? Let's talk about some use cases. Let's imagine you have built a fantastic travel app. Like you are AI powered engineers, you are founders, you are product managers, you are super people, right? You have built a fantastic travel app. The star feature in the AI powered app is it's basically there's a trip planner that AI that uses AI to recommend trips to people. It's built on Gemini and it creates custom itineraries for users. We have all come across this situation, right? You launched it using Gemini 1.0 Pro model, and your users love it. But now Google has announced, hey, there's going to be Gemini 2.5 Pro. It's faster, it's more creative, and it has bigger context window, which generally gives a better user experience that you immediately want your customers to start using it. Otherwise, your competitors might, steal a march on you. Or your customers might think, hey, there's better technology available right now. Why are you not using it? So you wanna make that change. But the thing is, if Gemini 1.0 is hard coded in your code, then that means there's going to be a code change, there's going to be a review, there's going to be a deploying, there's going to be testing, there's going to be deployment, there's going to be a review at App Store level. Or if you are a web app, I think you just skip that step. But there's a whole ton of process that needs to happen. And think about this. It's not just Gemini 2.5 Pro. There's going to be other models. So how do you make this process flexible and scalable for your app? Otherwise, you just go crazy changing model names, right? So uh, by the time it's approved your and users finally see the update, it could be weeks. You're stuck in your slow lane, right? So what we can do is we can just use remote config. You could have, instead of hard coding which model you're going to use, you can just store that model as a config remotely, get in the flag, right? So you just use a string in the flag that says use Gemini 1.0, and when 2.5 Pro comes, you can just update that string. It's as simple as that. If you use remote config, you do it differently, and it helps you a lot. Like you could have something like a trip planner model feature flag, and under it you would just have it coded. So the moment Gemini 2.5 Pro is released, you just sign into your Firebase console, you change the value for that parameter to Gemini 2.5 Pro, and just click publish. Instantly, the next time any user opens your app, they'll be able to see the new experience, and they'll be and it's just a generally a better experience for the developers as well as the customers. It will fetch the new value, and it will start taking calls to 2.5 Pro. The benefit really here is speed. You're no longer tied to the production cycle. You're no longer tied to the release cycle. You can deliver cutting edge AI advancements to your customers in real time. And you can similarly change other modern properties. Let's actually look at a scenario, right? This just talks about a particular model, but let's look at another scenario. Your ad is running, but now you're receiving active customer feedback. Families say that, your itineraries show a lot of nightlife scenarios. They said we wanted to go to a beach, but they sent us on scuba diving trips and stuff. But I have got like little kids, I can't do that. Right? So you're getting all of this feedback. So you look into your app and you see that the prompt that you have actually used in the app is a very generic prompt. What you have said is that hey, uh, you are a helpful trip planner who helps plan exciting trips. It's a very generic prompt, right? But now you're receiving feedback, and that prompt really doesn't work for a lot of people. So, uh, again, instead of going through that entire cycle, what you can do is you would just save that prompt as a config, And you can change the prompt. You can just modify it to say that, hey, you are a helpful trip planner agent who helps plan exciting this. But if someone gives this in context of a family, do more kid friendly activities. Like make family friendly itineraries. But here's the uh, when you receive this kind of feedback, the temptation is that I go in, I instantly change the prompt and go. That's it. But you don't really know what kind of a prompt, what kind of a change will work best for your ad, for your customers. You could phrase this thing 10 different ways, really. And some of them will work way better than others. So how do you decide? That's where experimentation comes in. What you can do is you can create a few different versions of the prompt and run that experiment live in the market with small sections of the customers. And you can target families. If you have a flag at your backend that says, hey, I use kind of the user represents a family, so you could just target those users and run those experiments with them, like with 1%, 5% of the audience, and then see like which one works better, and then you scale that final feature. So that experimentation bit is, I think, the most important thing, the most important takeaway we can take from this. You can run multiple texts at the same time, save time. You can easily build custom audiences. So think about like again previous scenarios: Bangalore plus Android plus always low battery plus app version, so and so. We do a lot of these custom targeting and experiments through remote config. So data decision like changes like these are risky, and usually my personal preference is we should always take data-driven decisions in these things. Nobody is like what makes sense to me may not make sense to anyone else. So it's just better to run an experiment and get some data. So let's move forward, right? Our trip planner is now safer. It works for families. It's more successful. Now, people still need to work. Product managers still need to earn their money. So they come up with a new feature. They come up with a very innovative feature that says, they're going to launch a new feature that will be a super feature. It is going to look at where a user is in their trip, and it will check their location and in real time suggest what are the detours they can take like for 4 hours or 8 hours to go have some fun by here on a highway somewhere. Right. Now you might just think that, hey, this town is good in theory, but it might break at 100 different places. You're dealing with someone's real time location, that you're draining someone's battery here, or people might not really like the heroes you are suggesting. They just might hate the thing at all, like at an overall level, right? So, do you really want to do this like right now to everyone? The answer is no. This is a gamble, and we should not take this gamble. What we should do is we should de-risk this plan. We should launch this new feature in a very low-risk environment and take the high stakes out of it. What we do is we create this feature and we launch it only for like 1% of our audience, right? So this is another capability that remote config provides. Or it's not just about remote config; it's about the philosophy. It's about the philosophy of building AI apps and AI features, right? You should be able to launch your AI features confidently, in knowing that you're going to increase their exposure in gradual increments. And if something breaks, you immediately roll it back. You immediately roll the feature back. It then transforms a very high situation into something that is more manageable, and it just gives confidence generally to your team, your leadership, as well as your customers. So overall, what you can do is when you're working with these AI features, feature flags help you move fast. They help you iterate rapidly, and they help you launch your new features confidently. That is all you can do with Pirates remote config today. And you know what? Remote config works seamlessly with Firebase AI logic. So previously, I think this used to be called, yeah, Vertex in Gemini or something similar. But it works seamlessly with Firebase AI logic today. If you need to call Gemini AIs directly from your mobile or web app, you can use Firebase AI logic client SDKs today. And by what is the benefit? By calling APIs from your apps frontend, you can quickly experiment with a lot of things like prompts and different models and functionality. It just opens up a whole new set of possibilities, especially for applications requiring immediate real-time responses. So in Finance AI logic, you could set up model name as a parameter and then Gemini 2.5 Flash as a default value, which you can switch to Pro as well. So there's a whole bunch of things you can do here. Sorry, I didn't think I moved the slide. Sorry. Yeah, so this is what we are talking about. This is what we are talking about, yes. So, remote config works really seamlessly with Firebase CDI logic. Uh, moving forward, right? Moving forward, remote config is easy, just to summarize, right? Remote config is easy to integrate on iOS, Android, and web, as well as a variety of gaming platforms. To be honest, you can ship cross-platform apps with ease using Firebase as your unified backend. Uh, Remote config is for client environments. It is present across Apple, Android, C++, Unity, and Flutter. We also have some server deployments available. So that is pretty much all about like what uh, remote config. That's pretty much all about what I wanted to talk about. How we can dynamically alter our AI apps, how we can safely launch them, and generally get more confidence in our overall AI feature usage and our ability to manage the user experience in this like uncertain era of AI. And I would still call it uncertain because there's a whole lot we still need to explore about how our apps and our features behave. So having that surety and just de-risking everything that you do with these AI features, that is a superpower that I think every one of us needs to embrace. And yes, uh, that's all from my presentation today. Thank you so much for listening.